Good evening, I'm Charles Ladd, and this is news. Hundreds of Jamaicans were today turned away from hell because the devil says that he does not want them down there, as they were only coming to make trouble and mash up his place. The reports also said that some of them had gotten there by fraudulent means, like going in wrong names and traveling on other people's death certificates. The Jamaicans were also said to have been installing fans, fridges, air conditioners, and other cooling devices contrary to the laws of hell. However, it was later discovered that the man who sent them back was not in fact the devil, but another Jamaican who was trying to overthrow Satan. He is booked to appear before the Devil's Race Court next week, Tuesday. Continuing the news. A bus which crashed into a wall today died on its way to the hospital. Am I reading right here? No, hold on. Look as if it is right. A bus which crashed into a wall today died on its way to the hospital, and the driver, who sustained injuries, was taken to a nearby garage to beat out and duke him. Reports are that the driver did not see the bus he was driving. Still on buses, come next year, it says here the Minister of Transport has said that conductors will have to start riding bicycles to collect their fares so as to enable more passengers to hold on the buses. Meanwhile, still on transport, the Minister of Public Buses and Travelers Affairs has said that, contrary to what some people believe, but Air Jamaica will not be digested, as he said that those planes are much too large for any one person to swallow. One man was shot and killed by the police in the corporate area after he allegedly pulled his service finger at the police. One man was shot and killed by the police in the corporate area after he allegedly pulled his service finger at the police. Sitting can go so? No, but as a presenter, I'm not supposed to talk that colorway. Something can go so. No, but that's not so much better either. Can sitting go? Okay, well, we'll leave that. Continuing the news. It says here, reports are that the police were driving along Lighway in Kilwan when they were fired upon by a man who pulled his service finger from his hand and said, "Pow!" And said, "Pow!" The police returned the fire, killing him on the spot. An M3-inch service finger with 3 spent nails was taken from his hand. The dead man was then taken to the morgue where he was treated and sent home. He will later be charged with shooting with himself. Continuing the news. Fire today did damage to a large section of a heap of garbage alongside the Riverton City main road and was put out only when there was no more left to be burnt. Damage is estimated at about 5.2 million cans, bottles, old papers, and other debris, and it is not known if the heaping was insured. It was also believed to have been the work of arsonists, and the firing squad police are investigating. Meanwhile, still on the firing squad, firemen attached to the firing squad are expected to go on a go-slow today in protest against what they say is the shortage of persons to fire on. Finally, in the news, the Minister of State and the Minister of State for the state, Mr. Minister of State, has stated that he is not at liberty to state the state of the state and has taken off for some states in the state to report to the Secretary of State. That's the news to the moment. I'm Charles Ladd. Next news time. Please stand by for the sports and weather coming up shortly. Now for the sports. Good evening. I'm Fling with them a penny with sports. And I started boxing as junior middle welterweight title holder Broad Forearm became the holder of that title last night after he thumped down a horse and 4 cows in the title fight between the Brute and the Beasts. And still on boxing, as 2 people have been chosen to be suspended from a boxing plant after they started boxing down each other, forcing the closure of the boxing plant. Meanwhile, on now to tennis, the game at Mona was blown off today without even a ball being bowled because of the short... No, this should have been basketball. The game at Mona was blown off without even a ball being bowled because of the shortage of baskets to make the balls. Meanwhile, cricket was marred by violence today after ace batsman Florence Goh was given out when it was discovered that he went onto the field of play with a no ball in his hand. On now to ice hockey. Snow skating comes to Jamaica next summer, as one company has already agreed to import over 20,000 tons of snow for that purpose. Finally, on now to hockey. Yes, they will poison you if you pick them before they're ripe. That's it from the Earth of Sports for tonight. Next sports time when sports puts on its brief at 10:30. Please stand by for the weather report coming up very short. Yes, the weather. Good evening. Now here's the weather forecast supplied to you by the Fahrenheit Met Office in Fahrenheit. Courtney Walsh today took 6 wickets to dismiss. Oh my God. For a moment I thought I was Lindy. What was I saying? I'm supposed to be reading weather. How hurricane get into Courtney Walsh's name? Okay, yes. Now here's the weather forecast. It's expected to be very funny during the morning. However, during the afternoon, we're expected to have wildly scattered flowers over the hilly areas, which could grow if we have thundering flowers over the hill interior along with rain. This could develop into what we don't even know its name during the morning, neither during the afternoon. And fishermen and small crafts are being warned that if they're on the high seas and they're nearly sure that a hurricane will develop, then they should sink their vessels and run. There is also a low-pressure system building up under the Eastern Caribbean, and by the time this low-pressure system reaches the high, then I'll be away on a vacation and doesn't give a damn what happens. The seas, I can't tell you how much it measures because it's so widely scattered all over southwestern Europe, and the Caribbean basin pan could be washed away if thrown into the sea. Meanwhile, people going to the beach are advised to take along their umbrellas so they don't get wet while they're in the water. Finally, raindrops are expected to weigh 40 to 15 pounds degrees Celsius, and sunrise you will see when it rises, and sunset you will see when it sets. That's it for the weather for tonight, and thank you very much. You can tune in tomorrow and everything will be all right. Hopefully there'll be no rain.